So what I have on screen is an image in Photoshop Standard, version 27.9. That's the latest version of Photoshop. And I was a little bit late to update my Photoshop, but I had a prompt and I thought I would do it. And I was previously running 2 versions behind, 27.7. So what you notice about this image is the colors are completely off. Very overly exposed, colors are washed out and desaturated. So this is not workable at all. That's in RGB mode, and it's kind of worrying because I thought my files were corrupt, and I've got jobs due, so I can't work like this. I was wondering what would happen if I did a CMYK preview. So when I hit Command Y, aside from all of a sudden jumping to 50% opacity, they look relatively normal when I do that. But I can't obviously keep working in CMYK mode. So why is this happening? In June 2026, Adobe ran an update or introduced a new color management system for HDR displays in Photoshop, which should mean that you get brighter colors, more depth in highlights and shadows, and just a generally better image. It's taken us in the complete opposite direction because there's a bug which affects the rendering of that image on screen. So there's 2 fixes for this. One of them I prefer over the other, and that is just to simply uninstall Photoshop and go back to the version where this color management system was not included. So that is should be version 27.7. That's the one I was running, because in June 2026 they updated to 27.8 and that had the glitch, and then 27.9 also had that same bug. So the display in both of those is not quite right. I also run 2 Photoshops on my system. I have Photoshop Standard and then Photoshop Beta. In Photoshop Beta, I don't update it. So this is actually an older version of Photoshop Beta, and you'll see that the colors are perfectly fine. So it might be worth having 2 versions of Photoshop if you want one new and one old. If you just want to take them all back to an older version, then you'll have no color display issues whatsoever. The other fix, which I'm less in favor of because it does present some changes to performance, is when you go into settings and you click performance, there is this checkbox here that says use graphics processor. If you uncheck that, it'll no longer use the graphics card to process and render the image. It'll rely on the CPU. When it relies on the CPU, you might find that there are some glitches and delays when zooming or when rotating the canvas or using HDR blend modes and other functions. So it's not terrible. Use it with caution, but at least your images will come out looking better. You notice when I uncheck that, there was no immediate change. What you have to do is click OK, shut everything down, close Photoshop, restart it, and you'll find that that same image, when you open it again, actually looks a lot better. Ignore that now, that's Photoshop Beta in the background. So as I open Adobe Photoshop Standard and reopen that image, voila, the colors are fine. So it does work by running off the CPU, but just be wary that there could be some glitches in performance. My preference is to use an older version of Photoshop until Adobe corrects the bug issue. So there's nothing wrong with the files, it just is a rendering issue, and Adobe should eventually fix it. They know about the issue because it's been so common. So hope that's helped. If you have any other solutions on how to work around this particular problem, feel free to share them so others know. We'll see you in the next video.